Hello. How are you? That's awesome. I hope you said good, because if you didn't, if you said bad, that'd be really awkward. Let's jump right in. Why don't we? Let's just hop right in and jump right in. Why don't we? Lesson 4. These thoughts do not mean anything. So similar to 1 through 3. If you haven't seen 1 through 3, which I don't know why you would watch this one before that one, but just in case, go to see 1 through 3. These thoughts do not mean anything. They're like the things I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place. So same template as the things that I see in this room don't mean anything. I don't understand the things in this room, but this one is pertaining to your thoughts. So I'm going to read through explaining how to apply this idea, and then we'll do the exercise together. Sound good? No? What are you... Man, why are you even here? No, I'm assuming you said in your head good or nothing, which means good. Unlike the preceding ones, these exercises do not begin with the idea for the day. And these practice periods begin with noting the thoughts that are crossing your mind for about a minute. We'll do that. Then apply the idea to them. If you are already aware of unhappy thoughts, use them as subjects for the idea. Do not, however, select only the thoughts you think are bad. You will find, if you train yourself to look at your thoughts, that they will represent such a mixture that, in a sense, none of them can be called good or bad. This is why they do not mean anything. In selecting the subjects for the application of today's idea, the usual specificity is required. Do not be afraid to use good thoughts as well as bad. None of them represents your real thoughts, which are being covered up by them. The good ones are but shadows of what lies beyond, and shadows make sight difficult. The bad ones are blocks to your sight, make seeing impossible. You do not want either. Identify each thought by the central figure or event it contains. For example, this thought about blank does not mean anything. It is like the things I see in this room. So, for this lesson, it specifies that you don't start with applying the idea. You start with first observing the mind for about a minute, and then noting what thoughts are crossing your mind. So let's do it together in real time. Let's do it. So if you find yourself identifying with your train of thought, effortlessly shift your attention to the part of you that is just watching. And as soon as you find yourself caught up in the thoughts and not watching, return to watching. So this may be easier for some than others, but as a general rule, be a watcher, be an observer, and simply just notice everything that's emerging, and I'll do the same. So I'll say mine first. So first I'm gonna say them because I can't hear you, right? The thoughts about worrying what to say don't mean anything. Thoughts about wanting to be still don't mean anything. The thoughts about being afraid of hunger, not quite afraid, but just experiencing the hunger that I'm feeling right now because I'm fasting. They don't mean anything. I'm just kind of explaining the ones that I noted while I was doing that exercise. So you can do the same. You can simply just take one or two of the thoughts that crossed your mind, like, oh, I'm bored or something like that, and simply say, the thoughts about me being bored don't mean anything. And that's basically the essence of the exercise. So, let's see what it says. You can use the idea for a particular thought that you recognize as harmful. Motorcycle. Nice. Cool. This practice is useful, but it is not a substitute for the more random procedures to be followed for the exercises. Do not, however, examine your mind for more than a minute or so. You are too inexperienced as yet to avoid a tendency to become pointlessly preoccupied. I think that's kind of just saying don't try to do it for longer than a minute just because you're going to get sucked in and miss the point of the exercise. You want to keep it concise, only watch for a minute and then do the exercise, saying these thoughts do not mean anything. Further, since these exercises are the first of their kind, you may find the suspension of judgment in connection with thoughts particularly difficult. Do not repeat these exercises for more than 3 or 4 times a day. We will return to them later. So, don't worry if you felt yourself connected to the thoughts. No big deal. It even says you may find suspension of judgment in connection with thoughts particularly difficult. So, no worries. But that was the exercise for today. You can continue it for the rest of the day. If you find yourself caught up in too much mental activity, you can just take a step back. Be a watcher. So simply identify with awareness itself, where it's not saying anything, it's not doing anything, it's completely silent, simply watching what is happening in front of you. And from that place of being a watcher, an observer, watch the thoughts that pass by. So thoughts like I'm bored, thoughts like I'm scared, I'm afraid, I'm angry. You take those thoughts and simply say, these thoughts do not mean anything. That's it. See you in the next one.